Hey, welcome back to the show. Today's February 27th, 2018. In this week's news, you might have heard Kodak announced a new or reintroduced Kodak Tmax P 3200. And this is almost feels like a Ferrania move. Like we announce we're going to build, slide film, and then we come out with a black and white film, which is available right now. But Kodak came back or reintroduced Tmax P 3200. P stands for push, as this film is really ISO 800. So if you're expecting a low grain film at 3200, Tmax 3200 supposedly has quite a controlled grain, but it is ISO 800 and it's prepared to be pushed 2 stops. They claim you can push it up to, I think, 25,000 ISO with, let's say, acceptable results. There's a big number of people that were big fans of this film, but just after that release, Ilford did a little hint on Instagram or probably Twitter, where they announced that they never left with their Delta 3200, and they also have it in 35 and 120. Sorry, I missed out saying Kodak will reintroduce Tmax P 3200 in 35 millimeters only, starting March 2018. So the day after tomorrow. About the pricing, we've seen it different websites, but the one I found to be the cheapest, and I'm linking it below for you guys to get the best deal, is from Cinestill Film, who, as we all know, is kind of working with Kodak to come with their Cinestill Film, which is a movie or motion graphic film used for still photography. And the price for the Tmax 3200, I think as we speak, is around $6 to $7, which is much cheaper than anyone else, which I've seen between $9 and $10. So if you're wanting to be one of those first buyers of the Tmax, that's the cheapest place I've found so far. Also, from the Kickstarter campaign from the Film Lab app, there's an update where you can read all about the color technology and all Abe's work. I know that it's still a longer time than he expected, but as we all know, Kickstarter campaigns always have an encounter issues that might not have been, seen beforehand. And Abe is giving us an update on the Kickstarter, and I'll leave the link below. Also, we have the Ektachrome update, which is not much of an update, but on their Twitter page or Twitter account, you can see that they have gone from the first quarter of 2018 to basically releasing it maybe in the first half of 2018. So sadly, the update is they're not making it yet available to us buyers, and we still have to wait, but at least we have Tmax 3200. Also from Kickstarter, we have the Labbox update. Again, another bit of an issue with certain parts. They've had to re-engineer and the molds have to change. So they've given themselves like around another 3 months for the campaign for the Labbox, the developing tank. And if you want to read it, it's on their Kickstarter page, which is open to everyone to read. Left the link below. Also, we have an update from Intrepid, again, with also a few issues they've encountered. Actually, Max made a great video. I highly recommend you watch it. They've encountered that the light seals on their 8x10 film holders is maybe not up to the spec they want, because it can fail after an X amount of uses. So people that bought their camera and bought with film holders, first ones that receive the film holders, which is actually a friend of mine who just sent me a picture and he had a big light leak on his film holder, will receive film holders when they're fixed later on in around 3 weeks. And those people that purchased the camera with film holders that still haven't received their camera will receive a camera first, and in 3 weeks they'll start receiving film holders. So if you're one of those 8x10 Intrepid supporters, I highly recommend you get one film holder at least, maybe in the secondhand market, and you can start shooting when you receive it. And in 3 weeks, you'll get the ones from Intrepid with the light seals fixed and hopefully a permanent solution, so you can shoot as much 8x10. And why do I say don't go ahead and start using it right away? It's just because it's 8x10 film is not cheap, especially color. And you don't want to have your film ruined because the light seal is a bit wrong. So might as well just be sure to buy some other brand that will probably work for now. And then when Max fixes the issue, which is already fixed, but he hasn't made the film holders till in 3 weeks, you can receive them and start shooting. And start with something cheap just in case there's any issue. Like I always recommend in a workshop is try to start with cheap film so you know your camera, so you know your film holders you're developing and such, and you don't spend a lot of money with mistakes, either yours or manufacturers. Also news from Stenopeika, we had last week the Hyper 4x5 camera, which was a 297 euros without taxes, cheap entry-level camera. And after a few suggestions, he's come out with the Hyper Advanced, which has a few other little things, like the focusing screen is proper glass, and it's like the one he puts in the higher end models. Focusing system is a fine focus, so it has that wheel in the back. He's made it black, which to me looks a little nicer. Not that I don't like the wood color, but I like the black one a little bit better. And then he's got the Hyper Advanced. I think it's complete with all the options, which also I think includes the back to use graph lock system. So you can use medium format holders, Polaroid holders and such. So yeah, if you're into Stenopeika and find that the Hyper camera was just a little bit too little of a camera for you, now you've got an intermediate. Prices changed to from 297, he's keeping that option, to 447, and I think 497 for the full advanced Hyper camera. So yeah, I'll leave the link below so you can check it out. He's made a video too, so you can see it. So it's very practical. Also from the Oxygen camera, remember that X-Pan camera you could 3D print, made by Oscar Alwison. He's come out, I told him it would be a good idea to have a Facebook group. So there's a Facebook group called Panomicron, which is the name of the project, where you can download the files, you can talk with other users that might be 3D printing their camera. I know Oscar's working on maybe doing a CNC metal body. So you can go there, check it out, and everyone is welcome. I know a lot of people don't have Facebook, but if you're interested, you can check it out over there. And last we have Analogbook, which if you've never heard of, is these little notebooks for film users to write down their notes. I actually think they were probably one of the first Kickstarters I supported, and now the cover is waterproof, which means if you're out and about and it's raining, or if you have them in the back pocket of your pants and you get a little wet, your Analogbook will be fine. So that's good news for those people that use these notebooks back and forth. If you spill something on them or it rains a little bit, you'll be fine. Well, that's all for this week. As always, if you have any information, send an email to the email below. And I just want to add, I've started a Patreon page a while ago, and now I have a tire, which is for the news, to support the news making. I do this for fun. I really enjoy it, but it would be great to have some support too, to see if people are really interested in helping out or not. But I'll keep on doing the news. Don't worry about that. But if you feel like you want to help out, I'll leave the link for my Patreon at the end of the video, and the link is also below. Thank you, and see you next week.